I think this will be a tight game as well. I think we will win it, but I still think we'll concede a goal. I think we'll continue
Same.
to concede goals for a number of maybe months, maybe until we get ourselves sorted at the back. Very few clean sheets.
So welcome back to BCFC Royal Blue. And we're back today with another score prediction video. And we like to do these every week, and they're just a little bit of fun. And it brings us on to the League One Week 4 fixture. So as always, handing over to Dad for a little bit of overview of how we got on last week.
So going back to game week 3 is a better week for me. I actually got won that week, only by 1 point though. So I got 6 points. You got 5. None of us predicted an exact result, but that's obviously based upon getting the outcomes of the games. So that brings the running total as we go into week 4. You have 16. I have 13, so I'm now 3 instead of 4 behind. So so it's looking a little bit better for me, but I'm hoping that I can now start to claw a bit more back in week 4.
It shows how difficult this actually is, though, isn't it, Dad? It's really tough. And me and you were watching the scores come in, and we were like, "How's that 4-4? How have they dropped that 2-0 lead?" It's a really difficult league to predict, but it's just a bit of fun, and I'm really enjoying just having a little go every week, guessing the scores.
Yeah. So should we get on to the week 4 fixtures? I'll give you the first fixture then. Okay. Blackpool at home to Wickham.
Yeah. So this is going to be a good game, I think, because Blackpool have a little bit of turmoil off the pitch. Obviously, they've got an interim manager at the moment. They had that 4-4 draw at Cambridge. They do have goals in them. And I think Wickham can score goals as well. They've proven it 2 against us. They beat Rotherham 2 at the weekend. So this is my slightly quirky prediction of the weekend. And I've gone for a 3-3 draw.
3-3. Okay, that is quirky. Yeah. Let me just type that into my spreadsheet. Yeah. On the basis that we've seen Wickham, we went to Wickham Wanderers when they played our Birmingham City just a couple of weeks ago, and they didn't look fantastic, did they? I know they've had a few new signings, and they had a good victory against Rotherham last week. But I just got a feeling that even though Blackpool have, at the time of recording, they without a manager, they've got an interim manager in place. I just think being at home, I think that they'll win this. So I've gone for Blackpool 2, Wickham 1.
Okay, cool. So that brings on to our next game, Dad, and that's Rotherham at home to Huddersfield. What are your thoughts on that game?
Well, two relegated clubs, they came down with us, didn't they? Both at the start of the season fancied to do very well. I think Huddersfield have fulfilled that. They've won 3 out of 3 so far, although they only narrowly beat Shrewsbury at home. I think we predicted 4-0. Both of us did last time. So, no disrespect to Shrewsbury, but I would have thought that the gap would have been a little bit bigger than that. But 3 points is 3 points. They still got them. Yeah. Rotherham have had a really indifferent start, haven't they? They've only got 1 point so far out of 3 games. But I do think that Rotherham are at home, and they have to start turning the corner soon, Rotherham. And even though this will be a tough game for them, I've gone for a 1-1 draw here.
1-1 draw, yeah. I think that's quite a nice default, isn't it, sometimes, when the two clubs come down or two big clubs are seen in the division come head-to-head. I think I did it with Charlton, Bolton, those kind of games where you can't decide. I tend to go for a draw as well. I think Rotherham have been a little bit hard done by in their games. I don't think the results have really reflected... The results haven't reflected the performances, but I do still think Huddersfield are going to have a little bit too much quality here. And I've gone for a Huddersfield 2-1 win, and I can't wait to see Steve Evans kick off at the end of the game because of some reason why they've lost again.
Okay, so you go for Rotherham 1, Huddersfield 2.
I have, yeah.
So next, Matt, that brings us on to our own Birmingham City at home to Wigan Athletic.
Yeah, so as we know, Dad, Birmingham City, our club, we're still waiting for us to iron out a few kinks. We're still waiting for that real moment of click. We are playing fantastic football in parts of games. We've completely changed our style. Wigan struggling for goals this year, I think that's safe to say. And I've gone for a 3-1 home win on this one. Okay. I think it's going to be, although 3-1 might say a comfortable lead, I think it's actually going to be quite a tight and cagey game, but I have gone for a 3-1 home win.
I think a lot of games are going to be tight and cagey. We've seen that on virtually every game we've played so far in the league, haven't we? Because teams really sort of want to play well against us. They do up their game. We thought this would happen at the start of the season. It was sort of almost like a cup final for every team that they're going to play out their skin. I think this will be a tight game as well. I think we will win it, but I still think we'll concede a goal. I think we'll continue to concede goals for a number of maybe months, maybe until we get ourselves sorted at the back. Very few clean sheets, but I've still gone for a 2-1 home victory.
Okay. Nice one. So that brings on to our next game, Dad, and that's Bolton at home to Exeter.
Yeah, Bolton have had an indifferent start to the season. 1-1, drawn 1, lost 1. They lost last week to Charlton, which is no disrespect. That's not an easy game, is it?
They drew to Wrexham as well.
They beat Leighton Orient in the first game as well. But they are at home. Exeter, they not had a fantastic start themselves. They've done okay, but again, based on home advantage, I've just gone for a Bolton 1, Exeter 0.
keep this nice and short for pretty much the same reasons you've listed, Dad, and I've gone for Bolton 2, Exeter 0.
Okay.
2-0 home win.
Okay. Next, we got Bristol Rovers versus Cambridge United.
Yeah, so Bristol Rovers have had a decent-ish start to the season, and Cambridge United, I still think they're going to be down in the bottom part of the table this season, sadly. I think they could either get relegated or just possibly survive the drop. I'm going to go for home advantage on this one. I've gone for a 2-1 Bristol Rovers win.
2-1.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I agree. I think that Cambridge, I think they're going to struggle on their travels this season. I think if they get any hope of staying up, they're going to have to get those points at home. But they're away again here, and as we know, they are prone to conceding goals. So I've gone for Bristol Rovers 3, Cambridge 1.
Okay, so we've both tipped the home team there for a win. So that brings on to our next game, Dad. That's Crawley Town at home to Barnsley. What are your thoughts on that game?
Well, Crawley started well, won the first 2 games. They lost actually in game week 3 at narrowly 1-0 at Wigan, but they got 6 points out of 9. They're at home to Barnsley, who having a strange season, isn't they? They lost against Mansfield in their first game.
They beat Lincoln at Lincoln as well.
Yeah, they did. Was it something like 4-1? Let me just check. It was. No, Lincoln beat Mansfield 4-1 actually. Barnsley in their last game drew 2-2 at home to Northampton.
Yeah.
And in game week 2 they did win. They did beat Lincoln 2-1.
Yeah.
So it's a win, a draw, and a loss, isn't it? I think again Crawley have shown that they can pick up points at home, but I just think that this is going to be a bit of a stalemate. So I've gone for a 0-0.
Yeah, I can see why you've chosen that. And Crawley, as you say, they're the underdog, haven't they? I think everyone kind of wants to see Crawley do okay this year because everyone wrote them off, including myself at the start. So it's nice to see them at least get off to a decent start. But I do think Barnsley are going to have one of those games where they pull it out the bag. Although even this weekend, Dad, they went 2-0 up and they ended up conceding 2 goals for a 2-2 draw. So they are definitely vulnerable and hard games to predict, the Barnsley ones. But I have gone for an away win. I've gone for a 2-0 Barnsley win, I think.
Okay, so that's Crawley 0, Barnsley 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so that brings us on to Mansfield Town versus Stockport County.
Well, Stockport have got off like a rocket ship, haven't they? I mean, that guy they've loaned in from Villa, Barry,
Louis Barry,
he's scoring absolute screamers every week, isn't he? I think we were linked with him at one point, which obviously could have possibly be broke down because of the Blues Villa derby. I've gone for a 1-0 away win. Stockport County to win this 1-0. I think they're going to continue the momentum. And I've watched them play. They're looking really good.
So that's 0-1.
0-1.
Yeah, both these teams were promoted last season together, and I think there'll be a lot of goals in this. I think they've both been involved in Mansfield definitely been involved in high-scoring games, but I've gone for 3-3.
Nice.
I've gone for it. I think it'll be difficult to separate these teams. I think they know each other very, very well. They've both, come up with a bit of momentum. So I'm not going to separate them, but I think it'll be goals. So I've gone for 3-3.
Oh wow! Well, that's a cracking game for the neutral. I can't wait to watch the highlights. If that comes true. That comes true.
Yeah.
Okay, that brings us on to our next game. That's Northampton at home to Burton Albion. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, again, two teams I think that we both thought would be towards the bottom half of the table. I still think that's the case here, and I think this could. Looking back later in the season, this could be a 6-pointer. I think both these two teams are going to be fighting to stay in the division. But I just think, again, home advantage, Northampton 2, Burton Albion 0.
2-0?
Yeah.
Okay, I've gone for very similar reasons, but I've gone for 2-1. I'm going to back Burton to get a goal, but I am going to go for the home win. 2-1.
Northampton 2.
Well, I find Northampton a bit similar to Barnsley. They're quite hard to predict. You never know which team's going to turn up, but I have gone for home advantage for a 2-1 win.
Okay. So then that brings us on to an interesting fixture, Peterborough versus Wrexham.
Well, the last time I spoke about Wrexham, or I gave a big claim about Wrexham, I said there's loads of goals in. They went and drew 0-0 with Bolton. And I was like, I kind of made myself look a little bit silly, really. But I think Wrexham-Peterborough, for me, screams a couple of goals, but it also screams a draw, and I've gone for a 2-2 draw.
Okay, that's interesting because that's what I've gone for as well.
You've gone for 2-2 draw?
I've gone for 2-2. I think that Wrexham did really well. They beat Reading 3-0 in game week 3. They've, like us, they've got 7 points out of 9. I think they're going to be stronger at home than they are away. And I think Peterborough are also going to be strong again this season as well. So I think this is a good fixture for a draw. Like I like you, I think there'll be goals in this. Usually are in Wrexham games. It was a bit of an anomaly with the one with
until I make a prediction. It's 0-0.
Well, we can't separate us. That's the first fixture this week that we both got the same prediction.
That's good because it makes for a winner and a loser a little bit more.
Definitively.
So that brings us on to Reading versus Charlton.
I found this one difficult. I kept going backwards and forwards with this one. And I would have predicted a draw here, but when I saw the Reading result at Wrexham. I thought that may sort of knock the stuffing out of them a little bit. So I've predicted here that it'll be Reading 1, Charlton 2.
2-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've gone for a 1-0 Charlton away win.
So
I
both of us
think
think-
they're going to continue that momentum of not conceding, but only just scraping through. That seems to be the Charlton way this season. And there's no shame in that. They're clearly doing very well, 3 wins out of 3. So, yeah, 1-0 away win for Charlton.
Yeah, I wouldn't underestimate Reading now. Obviously, the result against Wrexham was a bit of a, for me, it was a bit of a strange one based upon what I'd seen.
I
But,
rate Reading. I just think Charlton will be better.
The only thing that's going to do Reading, I think, is their squad in terms of they haven't got much depth. So if they get a few injuries and suspensions, that's going to really struggle with them.
Yeah.
Okay, so next fixture is Shrewsbury versus Leyton Orient.
Yeah, this one was a struggle for me as well because obviously Shrewsbury have got off to a little bit of a slow start, but they only lost 1-0 at Huddersfield, you know, and Leyton Orient, from the team that I saw against Birmingham, Charlton were the better side in that game, I think, from watching that, and against Bolton. They only lost the Bolton game through a goalkeeping error, and Bolton were a good squad. So I think Orient are going to turn it around this week, actually, and I've gone for a 2-1 away win for Leyton Orient.
Yeah, well, we saw Orient, didn't we, last week play Blues, and they did very well. Very well indeed, and I think there's goals in there, and I think that they will start to turn the corner now. Obviously, they've lost 3 out of 3 so far. That'll change this weekend. I've gone for Shrewsbury 1, Orient 3.
An extra goal in tagging in from me.
Yeah. So that's I do think it's only a matter of time for Orient start to pick based upon the performance against us.
Yeah, we've had a couple of fixtures, Dad, where it's like 1 goal swing either way. So we're going to be watching the results coming, going, come on, another goal.
As we always are. Yeah.
So that brings on to our final game, Dad, and that's Stevenage at home to Lincoln City.
Yeah, I'm going to keep this short and sweet. Lincoln have had a very, very strange start to the season, but I think that Stevenage at home. I think that. I don't think there's going to be many goals in this, so I've gone for a very narrow away win. So Stevenage 0, Lincoln 1.
I've also gone for an away win. I've gone Stevenage 0, Lincoln 2.
Lincoln 2.
I think they'll get an extra goal than that. And again, comes back to that thing I just said, Dad. Same score, 1 goal difference. So it'd be interesting to see how close we get this weekend.
Yeah. So that's it then. So that's all the fixtures.
Yeah. So anything further to add, Dad, or yeah?
No, just hope I get a few more points. Basically,
I wish you luck, but I want to win, so I'm not going to do that.
Well, it'll be interesting to see the predictions of the viewers. Obviously, please feel free to leave your predictions in the comments below the video, and just remember, it is a bit of fun, and we're trying to just be as honest as we can. And they are predictions, so don't take them too personally.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, not too much further to add there from Dad. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree with some of our predictions? Do you have some of yourself? Please let us know in the section below. And if you like this video, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And we're also on varied social media channels now. So we've got an X page, we've got an Instagram page, and we're also on Spotify. So please check us out over there and give us a follow on those. That really helps. And if you haven't already, please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss any future content all about Birmingham City. And myself and Dad will see you on the next video.